Good evening, everybody. Welcome. We're back. We have an IncrediChat going on tonight. It's been a few weeks, and we're back with a wonderful, just a wonderful guest tonight. I'm excited to talk to tonight's guest because he has been involved in some of like the most, I guess, well-known properties that we do. Hello, Anthony Thompson. Yes, this is exciting. So I mean, I'm gonna probably just jump right into it. But our guest tonight has been involved in like all of our childhood, the 80s, the 90s. He's been in these shows and these films. But without further ado, I'm gonna welcome in puppeteer Kevin Clash. Kevin, welcome to IncrediChat.
Good evening.
And it's true, you know, you have been a part of, I guess at this point now, decades worth, years worth of people's childhoods and their children's childhoods and stuff like that. So I mean, it must be something to know that your career has been influential to so many fans, and again, spanning from, you know, the preschool age to the adult age, you know, with the range of work that you have done, which is great.
You know, it's you know, when we're performing the characters and we're bringing them up, we don't even think about it. We think about just having fun. So when you talk about the span, I haven't even thought about it. You know, it's just getting in there and enjoying it and having fun with my crazy friends. And it's been a joy over the years. It's been so much fun. And then the icing on the cake is how people love it and enjoy the characters, and it gives them so much joy. So that definitely is humbling to all of us.
Yeah, and I mean, now you're out there and about doing the Comic-Con circuit, so you're seeing adults bringing their little kids, and I mean, dare I even say, you may even have some grandparents bringing their grandkids, because you started so.
Well, it's amazing, you know, with Baby Dinosaur, you know, you get the older, you know, going crazy, saying, "Oh my God, it's the Muppet." I mean, it's Baby Sinclair, not the mama. You know, yeah. So it's. You
got one of these yet?
Did you no, you know, that's the new ones. No, I have to get those. They look like they're beautifully done.
But you're saying, I'm sorry, what you were saying about.
No, but it's just, you know, and then some people will remember Great Space Coaster because it was such a huge hit back then. It was we got every major celebrity on such a unknown show. It was very surprising. You know, we got everybody. And then Entertainment Tonight started, you know, being there because we got so many celebrities, and it boosted the show. It was a fun show. Very, very different in design of the characters and the whole idea of it. It would be something that, you know, to bring that back. I know Jim Martin, who plays Gary Gnu, definitely have been out there trying to push it, and well, he should. It was a great show, and it's an evergreen show. It could happen anytime, anywhere.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You know, I know Jim as well, and you know, I've got you know, rediscovering the show because he posts a lot of the stuff on YouTube and stuff. It's a funny show, you know, and like you said, it can happen at any time, anywhere. I mean, obviously, the human cast, you know, you can be interchangeable as time goes on, but those other characters, you know, like anywhere. I mean, who knows what they're all up to now, right?
Sure, you know, just pop them out and you'll find out. I mean, all of them is very, you know, not dated at all. Any of the characters at all. And Chris Gifford and Ray Stevens and Emberly Bendiger, they were amazing, very, 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 very talented. I mean, you know, Chris went on to work with Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
And Fran, I haven't, you know, Emily, I haven't found out, and unfortunately, we lost Ray. He was my roommate for a good amount of time in New York. He was wonderful, majorly talented. We all miss him. But, you know, it had a really good kind of, you know, hip, quirky kind of show that was for the whole family. Yeah. And we all thoroughly enjoyed performing on that show.
And that theme song, I mean, it's so catchy. I could listen to it over and over again. I know it got a little bit of play when Seth MacFarlane did it on Family Guy.
Well, the music was amazing. I mean, we had some really, really genius, you know, arrangers and writers of the music. They were, very much in their. They were very, very successful. The group of people that we had doing the music and stuff like that. And it was wonderful, wonderful classic to us songs. Like you have the album back there. I remember recording My Way, and I just turned 21, and there was a lot of my puppeteer friends were at I think Lisa Simon's or somebody's house, waiting for me to finish recording so that they could party with me for my birthday. And I was in a recording studio down on East 62nd Street, recording My Way, and the arrangement was beyond amazing, amazing. No, very, 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 very. We had a great time. Very silly show. Very silly, on and off. Behind the scenes also.
About 3 seasons, right? I think
we did about 3 seasons. Yep.
Yeah, and again, it was a syndicated show, but the thing
we had everybody.
Mark
Hamill. Ben Vereen. We had. I mean, everybody. We had Mark Hamill. We had Kathleen. I forget her name. Who was in Romancing the Stone?
Oh, Kathleen Turner. Right?
Yeah, she was, and that's when Entertainment Tonight was there to interview her with Griddle, and it was a wonderful time. We had everybody. Everybody wanted to do the show, which was amazing to me. It wasn't a Muppet show, It was this quirky show that apparently connected to the celebrities.
Yeah, and you said it wasn't a Muppet show, but I mean, very much behind the scenes, because Kermit Love worked on it, right?
Yes, who actually designed some amazing those characters, and of course, I think it was 3 Design. Or no, Great Jones Studios was under Kermit's company, and I know Jim Krupa and Matthew Stoddard and I forget. Don't please. It's 3 of them that were amazing. Helped build and build those wonderful designs that Kermit was doing and stuff like that. Yeah.
And then even puppeteer wise, it was yourself. Jim was there, of course. John was there.
Young Lovelady from the Muppet Show. Yeah.
Yeah.
We had a good group. Pam Asiero was on it,
and I forget who was the
original.
Good
old Frank Kane, who played Baxter. Good old Frank Kane was doing it, and good group of puppeteers. Yeah,
I forget who was the original Knock Knock, because then Noel McNeil came on, and he was
John Lovelady. John Lovelady. Yeah, John did Edison and Knock Knock, and then he left the show, and then Noel got in there and started doing Knock Knock.
Gotcha. So again, a great show. So now in your career wise, you said you were 21 while Space Coaster was going on, and again, it was a hit show. It was on. So because you originally you did some Captain Kangaroo with Bob Keeshan.
Well, I was performing Captain Kangaroo. I was doing Captain Kangaroo, Great Space Coaster, and a little bit of Sesame Street at the same time.
You're juggling them all.
Yeah, I was juggling them all. Yeah, back then. Yeah, and I was a puppet captain on Great Space Coaster. So that was my first, other than just puppeteering, my first gig as far as doing something else on the show. Yeah, being more of a part of the show.
Yeah. Now the one thing I want to ask you, and I mean this carries over to Space Coaster, and certainly when you went over at Sesame Street, and even when we get a little bit further into your career with the Muppets, it's about that ensemble. And I think, obviously you were friends, you knew Jim Henson very well.
Yes.
What was it that he looked for in putting that ensemble together? Because when you really look at that the period from like the late 60s into the 80s, it was a very small, tight-knit group of people, but that ensemble, just did amazing work. And you guys traveled with Jim, for the Henson productions, pretty much project to project, whether it been Muppets to Labyrinth to Sesame. What was it that what was the secret recipe that Jim was looking for?
It's very hard to say, because he was everything was very simple for him. There was nothing. You never felt as though he was a boss. You never felt, he just gave you the space to show your talent, and he was amazing with that. And he never got in the way of that. He wanted you to succeed. He wanted you to make him laugh.
Mm-hmm.
and so that was really it. I mean, he saw, what he saw in us, and he made us better for it. I mean, it was something that, again, wasn't like, like you're going in and auditioning and somebody's looking at you stirring to see if you're doing it right or wrong. He was very, very open and very, very giving to one in the process and the fun to be there. And so you once you got rid of the intimidation that it was Jim Henson and Frank Oz and Jerry Nelson, and Dave Gold. But with Jim, he would get down there with us, and you never felt as though he saw you lower than him. It was at a level that he wanted everybody to succeed, and so he wasn't somebody that looked at us as people that he hired to do. He connected to us in a really simple, open way, and that opened us up to give him 100%, over 100%.
And then even like you're saying, you guys were allowed that connection. And I mean, even when you look at the comedy teams that really came from the Muppets, right? And I mean,
which was some amazing comedy teams.
Yeah, like I mean, you look at that stuff that Jim and Frank did as Bert and Ernie, right? I mean, even the Fozzie and Kermit relationship, the Piggy Kermit relationship, the two of them, like I mean, the chemistry that they had. And
I lost you. Where did I lose you at?
Did another window open up?
Yeah, that was weird. Technology. Let me see. Let me get back to you. Oh, there you are. Okay.
All right, cool. I was saying, so like I mean, they were a true comedy team, probably right up there with like your Abbott and Costello, Laurel and Hardy, because they just played off.
And then he opened up for other puppeteers working with him to do that, like Steve Whitmire and Dave Goelz as Gonzo and Rizzo. Come on. I mean, I was pushing. I was saying to Brian, I was like, you got to do the whole Bing Crosby and Bob Hope thing with them, where they just let them do, travel all over, like those two did. It would have been wonderful to just do movies around them. Once I said that to Brian because, of course, Muppets Christmas Carol is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
But they just were, the comedy team of those two in that movie was beyond phenomenal. I said, you got to keep doing that. You got to keep doing that. And they should have been the Bing Crosby and Bob Hope of a whole franchise of those movies with the rat and whatever Gonzo is. It would have been fun. I was looking forward to it, but unfortunately, it still could happen. But I was blown away by their chemistry, like Lauren Hardy and even I put Bert and Ernie right up there also.
Yeah,
I know that at the beginning, they were when Frank and Jim were playing around with those two characters. Frank was puppeteering Ernie, and and Jim was puppeteering Bert, and then they finally realized that doesn't work. But that's how it was. It wasn't like this big, huge audition or blah 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 blah. You just play around, and what clicks stays.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny that you mentioned that too, and I think this has to do with a lot with what Dave and Steve brought to it. I mean, after Jim had passed, I mean, like I would say Gonzo and Rizzo kind of carried some of those productions, until
amazing. And then you step into good old Bill Beretta, who had that, who has that same, craziness. He's continuing in it. In a phenomenal, hysterical way. That's why I begged him to perform, to play Elmo's dad, on Sesame, because I knew it was going to happen, and it did. It was hysterical. We had so much fun with him performing my dad. I had to have him close because he makes me cry laughing. He is hysterical, and so he's keeping that gauntlet alive with the Muppets, which is wonderful too.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned Bill, and I know he went off. I mean, the most recent thing was Muppets Mayhem. So I want to
Oh yeah.
backtrack just a little bit, because you had a character who I guess was a part of the Mayhem for a little bit, but he kind of did everything. Clifford. So
Yeah,
let's start
actually,
off-
Jim wanted me. Jim started to put together the Jim Henson Hour that we shot in
yeah,
Toronto, and he sat down and he said, "We got to come up with a couple of characters for you that would work for you." And we came up with Clifford and good old Kirk Thatcher, who's a genius,
yes,
who is an amazing designer. He designed all of the dinosaurs and a phenomenal writer and comedian himself. He did a bunch of designs of Clifford, and Jim and I picked upon the one that you see.
Mhm.
And I had no idea that it was going to go to the extent of Clifford taking over with Muppets Tonight. That was Kermit's seat for so long,
Yeah.
and it was interesting. It was a challenge. It was exciting to do. It didn't quite work for me, but it was very. I was very honored that they thought that Clifford could hold it to
Well,
Kermit's non-shoes or whatever you call it.
Well, because that's what I was kind of curious about. Because I mean, first of all, I'm going to ask you, as Clifford's assistant, if you will, which Clifford do you prefer, eyeglass and tropical
Oh
shirt
no,
Clifford, or Clifford without
totally.
glasses and the student
No,
tie?
totally sunglasses. That was his. I remember growing up with, I forget what it was called. It was a wonderful um, series. I think it was called. No, it wasn't McCloud. It was one of those series where it was, and I forget the amazing black actor that was in it, and then there was the lead, and it was a great show. And I'm sorry, I can't remember.
Spencer for Hire with Avery Brooks?
Yes, Spencer. Yeah, Avery. So I always saw Clifford like that. That very cool and collected. And that's why once we all realize with the Muppets are very simple in design.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you could take Ernie's nose or his eyes, and if you just put them slightly off, it's not Ernie anymore.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing that I felt with Clifford. Once the sunglasses were taken out, he wasn't cool anymore. He was silly, and he lost his personality, unfortunately. And I know I'm rambling on about this too much, and I know Brian's like, shut up. But
Clifford. That's what I want.
No, listen, we make choices,
Yeah.
and some of them work, and some of them don't. And that's I feel changed, and we lost who Clifford was because of it. That was his sunglasses was him. It's a part of his personality. It's the same in the wonderful designs that Jim designed over so many years, where some of his puppets had no eyes; they just had bushy eyebrows and a look to them, and it was the character was there, and that was the same thing with Clifford's sunglasses. I mean, that was his look, and so that was a challenge. But again, I was very honored to do the show.
Matt Casper's sunglasses were a great look.
yeah, just and so that was but it was great. I mean, we had a lot of amazing celebrities. One of my friends, Whoopi, got to sing "Diamonds," our girl best friend with Miss Piggy. There were some wonderful moments. Michelle Pfeiffer she was one of the first that said yes to doing and we were like gaga. She was just phenomenal. We did a dating game thing where, of course, Animal wanted her and all that. I mean, there was a lot of wonderfulness to the show, and it just again, either it works or it doesn't, and you go on, and that's what we did with Jim all the time.
Yeah.
Either it worked,
And I'm just on the Muppets Tonight thing. You definitely see from, and again, it was a very short-lived show. I guess they did it was about 2 seasons, 13 episodes.
At the most, yeah. I think it was like six episodes, and then they didn't show them anymore, I don't think.
And then Disney carried them. But then you see, obviously, like, Michelle Pfeiffer was the first episode, and Clifford's getting the gig. But you see had that show given the chance? Because once you get into that second season,
We were
you know,
starting. Yeah, we're starting. We were starting to get our little groove. Yeah.
yeah,
Pamela was hysterical. That was the whole thing.
and I
And
mean,
Mulch and Doctor, you know, the character that Brian performed, and I played Mulch. We had some fun characters, you know. Of course, that's where Bobo and Johnny Fiamma, Bill Beretta's characters, and Pepe.
yeah,
No, who was it? No, the prawn. Yeah.
yes,
Oh,
Seymour and Pepe.
I mean, classic,
Brian
funny, hysterical characters.
Yeah.
A lot of those characters came out of that, so that was fun.
Well, because I think one of the nice things about that show too is, you know, like, and definitely the first half of the show was very much centered in the TV studio, kind of like how the Muppet Show was, you know, but they were just recreating it for the. But by the time the show, you guys were really getting your groove. Like there was the episode where like Bunsen and Beaker were like on the Star Trek cruise, or Johnny and Sal had like Daryl Hannah and her sister living in Ma's house, you know, and it's just nonsense.
One thing that was really, really emotionally exciting for me is they had kind of a Trekkie thing or something. I forget.
Yeah.
You know, there was, and Bob Keeshan.
Yes.
They surprised me. They didn't tell me that Bob was going to be there.
That's right.
And Bob was there, and that was I didn't see Bob in a long time. I did the last 5 seasons of Captain Kangaroo with him, and he was so open and so generous to me, and it was very emotional to see him there.
That was that cruise because George Takei was on. I'm Captain Kangaroo or whatever it was.
Yes, it was. They had some really, you know, if they would have kept going. But you know, the other half an hour was great. That's where you got the storyteller and you got that wonderful Dog City that one of the amazing Canadian writers pitched that to Jim, and he said, "Let's do it," and it was wonderful. And then Jim asked me to play the lead. It was like he was so supportive, and you know, I just, you know, I can't say much more about, you know, he just was very giving like his kids have been to me. I mean, just it's been very, very, very wonderful, and he's giving those opportunities. I remember sitting there with him and talking about Elmo and how he just thought that character was wonderful, and he was very happy for me that happened with a character that I helped create. So it's always been wonderful to sit down and talk to him about it. There was a character that we were talking about that was going to be a headache for Miss Piggy. Mm-hmm. We were coming, and the character we came up with her name was going to be Sassy, and that was a character that we were developing for me to do with the classic Muppets always at that, you know, back at that time, but we never got around to it. But it would have been fun to get, you know, because it was when, you know, Dynasty was happening, so, you know, the women in that, so it's like, but you know, it's challenging. You can't really do that these days, as far as, you know, me being a male performing a female character and stuff like that. Which is a shame, because it's fun, but you know, it's something that we'll come to a happy medium at someday with it. Yeah, with being able to perform those characters and all of that. But that would have been huh?
I said that would have been interesting to see someone to talk, because, you know, Miss Pig is already a diva already, so another diva showing up and trying to.
Well, I was going to play her like a Nell Carter, you know.
Oh, nice.
You know, some of us know that amazing Tony Award-winning, phenomenal singer, but funny. I mean, she had a sitcom one that was very well known too.
Yes.
But I was going to play her like, you know, a Nell Carter.
That's great. That's great.
No, so that was fun. So we were always developing. We were always talking about other things. When we did Muppets Go to Disney, he took all of us out individually and talked to us about the future of and there was some amazing stuff that we were looking forward to doing. And that's what he was talking about, you know, Sassy and all of this stuff. And that was around the same time the Ninja Turtles, the first one, came out. And we stopped at a red light, and there was a line of kids with parents at the movie theater. And one of the ushers had to come out and literally go line by line saying, "I'm sorry, there's no more room." And so you've seen the devastation of these poor kids. And we knew at that point that it was going to be number one. It was going to be a huge, huge hit at that time.
You
I
know,
know
and
I'm all over the place, but
no,
I
no,
think
no,
of those.
that's good. I just want to go back to the Muppets because I do want to get into Ninja Turtles because I mean it's a phenomenal. And I mean, you look back at those movies now. Who knew that those would become what they've become? And we got some Ninja Turtle fans in here, but I just want to go back to Clifford because Clifford again. You know, you said the sunglasses, right? So we first saw Clifford Jim Henson hour sunglasses. Got to Disney World. He was sunglasses playing with the band, but he was a part of Solid Foam, right? Then Clifford wasn't in Christmas Carol and Treasure Island. You were in Treasure Island as Polly Lobster, and I can only imagine what that was like with Tim Curry.
Oh, come on, that was great.
Clifford came back on Muppets Tonight, no glasses, and his little suit look. But then after Muppets Tonight, we go to Muppets from Space and Muppet Wizard of Oz. He's back in that tropical shirt with the shades on. So he's kind of an everyman.
Well, what's really nice is Bill and I, because of the whole the mayhem on Disney, we were actually talking about hopefully they would pop, they would when they went on tour,
yes,
they would they would hit him up on the road and he would jam with them, and that we were looking forward to doing that where Clifford would come with the Clifford that I would love to perform, but listen, there's
100%,
hopefully there's some
that would have been great.
So no, it would have been fun. Would have been a lot of fun.
Yeah. So, and then another quick character before getting to Ninja Turtles, I just wanted to touch on because he was like a weird. Jim Henson and I brought a lot of weird designs, and Kirk Thatcher once again. You played this guy.
Oh
Leon,
my goodness, yes.
Leon with his big tail, who only showed up in Secrets of the Muppets.
Yeah.
So was he was Kermit's cousin, or he was just cool? He's like cool, cuz, or who knows?
You know what? I don't even remember. I just remember that he had a great mechanism for his eyes to go around, kind of like what Wembley's eyes do, and so that was fun. But again, you needed time to develop that character. You can't. A lot of these characters, even at the beginning of Sesame or even the Muppet Show, a lot of characters were developed and fortunately, they had a chance to keep developing and become great because they had the opportunity. The show kept going. So you got to enhance it and hone in on what you wanted these characters to be. And unfortunately, sometimes that doesn't happen. And Leon was one of them. I really would have looked forward to, developing him a lot more, but unfortunately that didn't happen.
Because is it me? He was a little bit of a shyster, wasn't he? Because even I'm thinking, even Cliff's nightmare. He's a little con man.
He's like Rizzo. He's in certain ways where sleazy, kind of sleazy. Don't not too straight as far as how he gets his success and how he raises he makes money. So no, it was and I've never done a character like that. So that's why it was really exciting for me to be able to hopefully develop him more. Because I really wanted to see what I could do with that type of character.
Yeah. So now I want to segue into going back down to Florida, back to Disney, right? Yes. And that movie theater line, because now this is where we're getting questions, fan. The Ninja Turtles, right? So, and I'm just going to throw in here, Sarah Jane wants to say, how was it playing Master Splinter? And Matt Casper says, because it kind of goes, the first two Ninja TMNT movies were the tops visually due to the creature effects. So they came to Jim, the creature shop. We want you guys to do the effects for the Turtles and Splinter. How did you get caught up in this Splinter role? What happened there?
Ryan said, listen, you've done a little red monster that's a little kid, and I had you do a baby. You're doing all these young, little characters. Why not we try something a little older? And that's how that happened. I wasn't really supposed to do the voice. Okay. I was really just supposed to perform the character, and everybody liked what I was doing, so it stuck. But really, that was Brian who said, try it, see if you can play around with it, and it was wonderful because again, I was pretty young at the time, and it was exciting. It really was exciting because it wasn't a kid-like thing. It was I was playing a 75-year-old man who got thrown into taking care of 4 teenagers. Mm-hmm. And where I got the inspiration for his character was through James Olmos from Miami Vice. He played the captain, and Pat Morita. who who was Karate Kid and Mel's Diner and everything, and his sense of humor, Pat Morita's, so to combine those two, that's how I got the Splinter that I came up with, which was a lot of fun, which was really wonderful, and it was great to work with such amazing actors on that movie. Also, Casey Jones, I forget the amazing actor who played Casey Jones, who is still, I see him every once in a while. He just blows me away, and of course Judith was wonderful. So it was nice to play off of them and not play. Then also playing off of the Turtles and kind of being the father figure, was a lot of fun. And the young actor that was in the first one, I really enjoyed working with him. He was very talented, that guy. And so it was a wonderful departure from doing children's programming, children's stuff, to really honing in and trying to hone into my acting chops as much as possible. And I'd love, that's the character that I would love to do again. That would be a lot of fun. He was great. And then, it was amazing. There was a lot of challenges because the technology back then, it wasn't up to par. It wasn't, it was a lot of glitches and breakdowns and everything. And the only one that was running a lot of the time was the rat. And so, because he was hardwired, the other ones had to be radio controlled, had to be, no cords and stuff because they were head to toe running around. And so anytime that, and another thing that was challenging about it is that the turtles work together. So if one crashed, you couldn't shoot, because they always work together. So it was challenging, but to watch dailies on that was amazing. It was very, very, very amazing. We knew that there was something here that was really, really, that we'd never seen before, and we thought it was really cool. I'm forgetting, and I feel so bad. I'm so bad with names, but the director was beyond amazing.
Yeah. That first movie. Oh, did you lose me again?
Oh, I can see goodness, it. What's going on?
Yeah.
I can't believe I'm actually getting back because I'm so terrible with technology. But what's his name? The director of the first one.
Anybody watching knows the director of the first one.
Yeah,
maybe Matt, because Matt's.
I'm so terrible.
Steve Barron, Anthony Thompson.
And Steve was coming from doing music videos for MTV.
Oh, really?
That's where his claim to fame was, and so he went on, and I loved his vision. His vision was like, I'm not going to put a whole lot of light on these characters. They're turtles, and they live in the sewer. I want to give that whole illusion. That's why that wonderful shot of just the water and their shells coming up and popping up above. Genius. I mean, just his shots were so visually amazing, really cool, and it gave you that whole intenseness of what that movie should be. If that wasn't there, it would have just been cheesy. I felt as though it would have been cheesy. His whole vision was so amazing. I was blown away, and it worked fabulously. I mean, even with Splinter, he didn't want it to look like this fuzzy dog. He KY'd it up and always cut. He was a rat, so he wanted to make sure that he looked the way he should look as a rat, not. And so it was exciting and that gave us more to work with.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly like that movie. I mean, it was a very. I don't know how much the budget was compared to like the sequels, but I think it was a very.
It wasn't that much. Compared to the and I couldn't believe. I mean, when we were seeing, matter of fact, we were. Like I said, we were doing Muppets Go to Disney World, and I was standing beside Jim when they gave him a little card that said that the Ninja Turtles was going to be the #1 movie that weekend, and he was very, very excited. But then he was like, they gave him, Golden Harvest gave him such a hard time because understandable in certain ways that the technology wasn't there, so a lot of times there was a lot of hurry up and wait. There was a lot of downtime because of the technology. But at the end result, it was like, it was fabulous. It was fabulous. And it worked. And Jim knew it was going to work. Jim knew. And it was amazing. I mean, I was the one who was working as a puppet captain kind of on the movie, and so I was the one who had to tell Steve that one of the turtles' heads was crashing and can't shoot with it. It was I had to do that. I had to be the one to do that. So, but again, look what happened. Look at. I mean, it's a phenomenon. It's a classic. It's a classic. Both 1 and 2, I feel as though are classics, especially the first one. Amazing.
Yeah. Now, aside from yourself, how many people were on Team Splinter? Because when you were performing,
thank you for letting me. I had Ricky Boyd, who's an amazing puppeteer. He did the hands. He did the hands of Splinter.
And those were mechanical, like, right? Because they
were all mechanical. Yeah, they were all mechanical hands, all cables and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then Rob Tigner, who's an amazing British puppeteer, he did the eyes of Splinter. And then that was it. It was the 3 of us. No, but why do I think that John Kennedy did? I don't know if John was on this one. They all blend together. There's so many people that
And I mean, obviously, for you, Splinter was pretty much done doing Elmo
and puppets
and all that stuff.
Yeah, it was, but it was very, 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 very one of the heaviest. I think I would say now he wasn't as heavy as performing Agra for Dark Crystal, Ninja Turtles with Dark Crystal, but he was the first very heavy puppet that I had, and so I had a whole brace, a pole that went up to the head, and I had a brace around my waist and stuff like that to hold the weight. It was pretty heavy, but it helped in keeping the style and the movement of Splinter. Mm-hmm. He wasn't a little, he was very, very, very astute and very, very stiff in some ways, but it worked for the character.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, when you look at it, we were talking about Frank before. I mean, Splinter was kind of like your Yoda, right?
Yeah.
When you look at it that way, like that,
yeah.
A hand puppet, but done in a different kind of style. And then obviously the second movie came about, obviously brighter, more cartoony, bigger budget, right?
And then the third one was even just bad because they that's what was the Golden Harvest was angry about. We put all this money into this, you don't even put light on it. And then so they had to go, and I don't I know his name was Michael, the director who directed the second one. But they brightened everything up, and they just didn't understand. That's what the illusion. That's what made it. Coming off of the comic strip, more of what the comic strip, and that's what Steve got. He understood that, and it's a shame. It's a shame, but I still had a great time on the second one. I had a great time.
Gotcha.
It was fun.
And I mean, around the same time as that second one was coming out too, then Dinosaurs was kind of like taking off with the Creature Shop as well.
Well, that's why, because of the success of Ninja Turtles and that technology, that's where that came from as far as doing Dinosaurs with that technology. It was very difficult because we had to finish an episode a week, and that was very challenging with that technology.
Imagine,
but it worked. I mean, those characters were great, a lot of fun.
Well, now let me ask you in regards to the Dinosaurs. So, I mean, obviously, and I know there's a lot of interchange with some of the dinosaur characters, right? So, working with Michael Pressman directed Secret of the Ooze.
Oh, Michael, thank you. He was really cool. I really enjoyed working with him too. He had a task that they were like, make it light, make it bright, but he was a lot of fun. Really, really, really fun actor, and I mean, actor and director. He acted too.
Yeah. I remember some of the things of Michael Pressman's, and now the name when you said actor.
Yeah.
some of those like
But
80s.
a lot of fun directing. Really
Yeah.
sweet guy. A lot of fun. Yeah.
So my question for Dinosaurs was, so Ninja Turtles 1 and 2, like they're obviously a bigger budget, and obviously more time. As you said, there were these glitches. You just said Dinosaurs, you pretty much had to get one done a week. How did the technology, how is it different, or how is it the same with between Dinosaurs and Ninja Turtles? And again, what was the work week like trying to get one of those episodes done per week?
Well, there was sometimes where, in LA is different to the East Coast where if you finish, like you start on a Monday and you finish and you go overtime, you can't start until the next day, however you finished that night before. So that meant that each time you were always going to be pushed later and later and later, to the point where Friday you'd be shooting into Saturday at 2 a.m. in the morning.
Oh wow!
It was, and those poor guys in those costumes at 1 o'clock in the morning is horrendous. So it was really, really challenging, but everybody was up for it. But it was grueling. But but also we had a lot of fun again. We had a lot of fun. They got to the point where they could get a week, 5 days done, and beautifully, But again, it's troubleshooting. They had 1 and 2 to kind of get those glitches out to a certain extent, but then they went into being thrown into having to do 5 days of shoot, which is another challenge. But they succeeded, and it was a beautiful show. I was sad that it didn't get as more seasons that it should have, because it was amazing. It was an amazing show, but it was a very, very expensive show to do.
I'm sure.
Very expensive.
And again, that was one of those shows that was kind of like a sleeper hit. I know people when it first came on, they're like, "Oh, this is different." It was obviously Jim Henson, and what the heck was I can't think of the other producer of the show was. Wasn't it Michael too, right? I can't think of the guy's name now.
Oh, Michael Jacobs.
Michael.
That show was developed with Jim before he passed away, and Michael was involved with it. And Michael was the one that said to ABC, "We can still do this with Brian. We can still do this," and that's how that happened. Michael's genius. I remember he pulled me into his office. He closed the door, and he said, "Okay, do Baby's voice."
I'm the baby.
All right, do Elmo.
Hello, everybody. It's Elmo.
And he said, "Okay, it is different. Okay," and then he opened the door and whisked me out. He was wow. When we did the first introduction to the characters, he was sitting right off, because Earl and Baby were they were the host of the first show, and then it would go into they would talk, and then it would go into the show, and then it would come back to them. So they was all through that, and he was sitting right off to the side throwing gags, throwing stuff. That's where it was just a conversation that Earl was having with Baby, and Michael just said, just say, "I'm gonna bite you now, bite him." And so Earl is talking, all of a sudden,
I'm gonna bite you now.
oh, so Michael was amazing. I mean, he would throw out all those funny gags out. His sense of humor was great. It was so much fun to work with him. It really was.
Yeah. And again, that's another show, another character that you performed that kind of took America by storm, because it was Baby Sinclair mania.
Well, I was walking in the mall once, and there was a guy with his girlfriend, and she was beating him on the head with the toy, saying, "Not the mama, not the mama." And he was rolling his eyes, and I was like, "Okay, this is a hit." It was really, really fun. It was great to do, because I got to do. I remember I did a High C commercial with him. And I got to do a lot of stuff that you really can't do it with Sesame, because of the it's children's and it's PBS and stuff. So I got to do some pretty outrageous stuff with the Baby. So it was fun.
Well, there's you mentioned outrageous. So there was a what you call it? There was some Disney World Disneyland special, like an anniversary special. And Michael Eisner goes into, I don't know if you remember this. Michael Eisner comes into this room, and Baby Sinclair is sitting at his table, at his desk in his chair.
Oh yes, I remember doing that. Yeah,
And
I got to hit him with it with the bottle and hitting his head and everything.
Oh wait, but no, I don't know if you remember this part, but there's a scene in there too. He's like, Baby Sinclair, what are you doing in there? Number one.
Yes.
And two.
Definitely. We had so much fun. We got to do. I remember doing a wonderful raising money for AIDS, for children's pediatric AIDS. Where I got to meet Roseanne Barr, and I got to she was fun, so funny. I was in this enclosure where Baby is puppeteering inside this box, and she opened it. She looked at this. Oh, that's how it's done. And I said, you watch the show? You like the show? Yeah, but don't lose your day job. And she closed the door. But it was a wonderful evening. We had so much fun. Paul Abdul was there. We raised a lot of money for pediatric AIDS, and that's when it's really cool to be a part of something that's so popular that you can give back. And that was one of the things that we got to do, and I got to do that so many years with Sesame Street too. When the characters become that popular that you can give back and help like that, it's wonderful.
Well, and I mean, and again, you see this when you're out there now doing the shows and stuff, is, you see how you've affected people's lives. Obviously, you went out and you did outreach with Elmo or with Baby at the time, and other stuff with the Muppets. But now you're seeing these people that you didn't meet in person, who, you were there. You were their go-to when they came home from school, or they were having something at home, and they put on Ninja Turtles or Dinosaurs or Elmo, and that was their safe spot. So, again, Muppet stuff, and even like Dinosaurs, Ninja Turtles, they're closed sets. There's no studio audience. There's not stuff like that. So you guys don't get to really get that instant gratification as if you have a studio audience.
It's wonderful. It's amazing. It's beyond amazing. It's very, very, it's a personal thing that's really, really sweet. That's why, I didn't know that, because again, like you said, we don't go out and do. I mean, years ago we did a big Muppet convention out in LA.
Muppet Fest.
Yeah, Muppet Fest, which was beyond amazing. It was magical, and I wish we gotten to do that again. But that was we got a little bit of that because we sat and signed autographs and we heard. But with Comic-Con, you have so much time there to give the people that love these shows and these characters, that is really, really sweet. It's very, very personal. I didn't know it was that personal. I'd never done it before, and very, very sweet. And to hear the impact that these characters have had with so many people. Like that is so great, and to be able to do it sometimes with Steve Whitmire, Mike Quinn, who is one of our fellow puppeteers, and I haven't gotten to do it with Noel yet, so I'm looking forward to hopefully doing it with Noel McNeil. It's a lot of fun to be around and reminisce together, and also talk with these amazing, wonderful people, in that way. That only Comic-Con can do. Yeah. Only a Comic-Con can do. And I didn't know that, and it's been a pleasure. It really has been a pleasure.
Yeah. And I'm sure you get asked this a lot of times too. I mean, and again, the world is so much bigger now thanks to technology like we're doing here tonight.
Sure.
I mean, obviously when you got started in puppetry, it was a lot of you trained yourself. And then it was a lot of sending tapes to whether it be Henson or some of the other companies that were doing things. For a young person who really is interested in the art of puppetry now, what would you say would be the best route that they should go?
Oh, it's the same thing. Send tapes to Sesame. Send them to Jim Henson Company. That's how we find these amazing, talented people. It's still the same. It's still the same. Talk about your passion for the characters. Send us your videos of what you've been doing and the puppets that you've been creating, and uh, that's as simple as that. It really is as simple as that. And like you said, with technology, you can put it on YouTube and send it. I mean, or any of those social media. That's exactly what still happens. Still happens totally.
Mm-hmm.
There's a guy. What's his name? I think his last name is Barnaby.
Mm-hmm.
He does the little finger. Have you seen the? They're amazing. We used them for Dark Crystal. That's how he was, and it was just this. He does these little puppetry movement things with his fingers.
Mm-hmm.
That we thought would be good for a segment of the Dark Crystal series, and we used him. Very, 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 very talented. And he came off of YouTube. They saw him and they thought he was great.
Yeah. I just want to go to a couple of the comments here from the audience before we wrap up here tonight. So we have Sergine, and he just said it was great doing a video chat with you, and he showed you his puppet Muscle Max. I guess this was back in 2022. I don't know if you remember Muscle Max.
No, I'm sorry, I can't remember. I'm so senile now. Please.
It's all good. And he also amazing. Whatever your Hoots and Clifford. I just want to go back to this here too. You're talking about being able to do some of the stuff that you weren't allowed to do on Sesame when you did other shows. So Anthony writes, Michael Jacobs, who did Dinosaurs, also worked.
Oh my goodness!
You guest starred as Elmo on a Torkelsons. I remember the Torkelsons.
What's interesting is the episode that I did. Oh my God! I told you I'm terrible with names, but it was Drew. Who does The Price is Right now?
Drew Carey.
Who's the host? Drew Carey was on that same episode, and he was a young, Drew Carey, and I think Michael knew him and loved him and put him in the show in that episode, and it was wonderful. It was really, Michael is a huge fan of Elmo, and it was so sweet to work, and the young actress that was on it was so sweet. Great cast, really wonderful cast. So it was wonderful to do that show, especially it being a Michael Jacobs show. It was fun.
Mm-hmm. And just you're mentioning this young actress, and I think this just speaks to just the whole world of puppetry in general. And I mean, this obviously with your work with Elmo, but I mean even just like on Muppets Tonight, when you put Clifford on or whatever, what do you feel that magic is that the person?
The magic is we lose ourselves. The magic is we create and we think about another character. We think about another, it's someone else other than us.
But not even that. Just like if you had a puppet on your hand right now, I'm not talking to Kevin. I'm talking to whoever's on your hand. And I'm looking. I see you right there. Whether it be a child, whether it be an adult, there is that magic and just the imagination.
No, listen. I remember. It's wonderful to have been an audience. I remember Tracy Chapman being on Sesame, and she started singing the song with all of the Sesame Street Muppets, and she cried through the whole thing of happiness. She couldn't believe she was where she was, and we were just in amazement. And it brings out such wonderfulness, it brings out such joy. I remember, talking with Kofi Annan, and he was going to get his Nobel Peace Prize, and Ella was asking him, where was he going to put it? Was he going to put it in the foot of his bed? Was he going to sleep with it? It's such an important, and he just laughed, and that picture of him laughing went all over the world with Elmo. It brings out the child and the joy and excitement of just giggling and being happy, and that's what Jim helped create and has made this legacy for us to continue. It's very humbling, and it's been a great ride, unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, and the Muppets, the Muppets just bring us all to a special place. There's just that warm thing. And, you mentioned about that picture going viral with Elmo. Bugs Bunny, Mickey Mouse, those are all characters, right? But Elmo, Kermit, they're tangible. You can touch them.
You can touch them. Yeah. You can touch. Listen, all the technology, all of that is phenomenal. I mean, oh my goodness. But to be able to see a child, there was a real quick thing. I was doing some appearance somewhere, and the mom was sitting, who was helping develop, put this live performance together. She was sitting in the front row with her baby, a child, and the little girl had a little Sesame Street diaper on, and I had Elmo on, so I did this little personal thing, and she, little girl, came over and hugged Elmo, pulled him off my arm, took him back over to his mom, and sat on her mom's lap and rocked Elmo, and her mom was like, and I was like, no, it's hers, and she finally gave it back, but it was really, really sweet. It's amazing to be, like I said, it's amazing for me to be a part of that. They don't know me. They don't care to know me, but just to be behind this character that they love and watch the joy has been amazing. I've gotten to sit Indian style and greet like 500 kids with this little red, or any of my characters, Griddle or it's been fun to be able to do that.
Yeah, and that's the real magic of it, truly.
Yeah.
Before too, I just want to ask. So you mentioned Dark Crystal. What are you working on now? Where can we see the amazing puppetry of?
Well, there's a bunch of there's always a bunch of things that we're always trying to develop and always trying to push. There's a sitcom that I'm hoping that we'll get going with, where I'm developing it in the hopes of bringing an amazing. We're going to be auditioning, hopefully, amazing Black female puppeteers for this lead character in this sitcom. We're hoping to be able to do. Excited about that. There's always a bunch of things in the horizon. I'm hoping to get back to, out of the country, because I love shooting in London, and so we're hoping that there might be some projects. We'll see. I'm crossing my fingers.
Excellent. And then for everybody watching, you're out there doing the convention scene. So I have on the bottom there, you're going to be at Undiscovered Realm Con in White Plains, New York, in the end of June. So you'll be there with a whole bunch of the Ninja Turtle people. Steve,
I'm looking forward to seeing them and seeing Steve, of course.
So, and Sarah J said, "You're the best." Matt Casper says, "Sesame Street characters appearing on Scrubs is memorable." That was another good one.
Which one? What is it? Oh, Scrubs! Oh my God, with Grover, that was so much fun. That's a great cast.
Everybody's throwing out all this stuff.
Also doing West Wing. West Wing was amazing. Amazing. Martin Sheen. Martin Sheen, he wasn't shooting that day, and he came in to watch us, and he was sitting there like he was watching a puppet show. He was happy and clapping. It was so much fun. That was a great cast. Wonderful cast. Jenny, and oh my God. And Stockard Channing, I got to interview them as Elmo, because we were doing we were asking different celebrities and people, what's your favorite moment of Sesame Street?
Yeah.
And I got to interview Stockard, and Stockard said, that was the first gig that she had when she came off the bus in New York. She got to do a little gig on Sesame Street. So it was really wonderful. We had a wonderful time doing Scrubs and West Wing. That was so much fun to go out of Sesame Street and go on to somebody else's set is always fun.
Yeah. And now you just mentioned Stockard Channing. That makes me think Mr. Willoughby. That's another one you did with her.
Oh my goodness, and Leslie Nielsen. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, Robert Downey Jr.
Downey Jr. He was. All of them were great. We had a really good time. We shot that in LA. That was a lot of fun.
Oh my gosh, Kevin, this has been amazing. I know you wrote one book. You wrote your one book, but you could probably write a book with so many other great stories about just all these things that you've done in your
Well,
life?
we've gotten to do so many different things. Steve and Bill and I, we always sit and talk about, reminisce about so many things that we've gotten to do and things that we've gotten to hang out, hang around, behind the scenes and just, have a great time together. That's what Jim always wanted is to have a group of people that have just to be, and have fun and enjoy what they're doing. And we definitely got to do that.
Well, and that's the thing in the Muppet Celebrate Jim Henson. I forget which character says it, but you guys are like watching the things, and you're like, I remember one of the Muppets says, I remember all those, and Jim's sitting there watching us, having a great time, and watching us do it. So
totally.
Hey, just a quick little thing before we go.
Sure.
Somebody wants to maybe say hello here for a minute.
Is it who I think it is?
Let's bring on a special guest, everybody, who's going to come in here for a quick minute. Welcome, Leslie Carrera Rudolph. Hi, Leslie.
Wait, what? Who?
Oh,
technology.
I know. Now I hear you're kind of under the weather.
A little, yeah.
Oh, there he is.
There's Newhart.
Good old
Dog
Newhart.
in my throat.
You have a dog in your throat. Okay. Oh, see, sick or not, she can do it. It's so good to see you, lady.
I don't know how to do this technology.
No, you just did it.
There was the heart. There was the heart.
I know. I was like, oh gosh, thanks for the story.
We were a team. We were a team on Muppets Tonight because I helped her with Spamela.
Yeah.
So we got to do that together at the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah. Kevin would say, he goes, don't improvise, because he had to catch everything I do, and I'm like, what?
And
then,
what do you now?
But never tell me.
Asking Leslie, don't improvise. Is like, please. I don't even know what to say. I know. So
I don't know what Paul's doing.
You're under the weather.
Oh, under the weather, I guess. I think that makes me look gassy. But yeah, we were definitely.
No, we had a good time.
Yeah.
Good times.
Anyway.
Really good time.
It's
so good to see you. I'm glad you listened.
I did. I was
and
great.
not fall asleep.
No, I thought you'd maybe talk about I was gonna what's your favorite food?
Oh, please. But you know that. Crab cakes.
Oh,
I would say crab cakes.
Choice. That's a good choice.
Really important stuff that you need to know.
Yes, very important.
Well, this was a great surprise. So
Wonderful.
I mean, Leslie and Kevin, if you guys want to stay on for a second, we'll say goodbye to everybody at home. But go see Kevin at Undiscovered Realm in June at White Plains. And I mean, for Leslie, since we're gonna promote Leslie a little bit.
Yes.
Go to humorwithaheart.com.
Oh yeah, I was like, what am I doing?
You forgot.
Humorwithaheart.com or follow Humor with the Heart and Lollipop Parp on Instagram.
Yeah.
There's a lot of joy going on there. It's just amazing people. These great, talented folks. So I mean, we could you guys will hang out for a minute afterwards. But Kevin, thank you so much for this tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Talking Muppets. And Leslie, thanks for popping in. And folks at home, thanks for tuning into IncrediChat.
I'm texting him. I'm like, ask him about Mulch. When Mulch sang "Oh Man River."
Oh, jeez.
Because you have a beautiful voice.
Please.
We'll see everybody next time on IncrediChat. And you guys will hang out for a second, but we'll see everybody at home soon.
Take care.